U.S. troops will defend Taiwan if China attacks, U.S. President Joe Biden said. Yes, if there is an unprecedented attack, the head of the White House said, answering the corresponding question of the presenter in an interview on the CBS program, 60 Minutes. When asked to clarify whether he meant that, American military personnel, men and women, unlike Ukraine, will defend the island in the event of an invasion by the PRC, Biden replied, yes. At the same time, he noted that Washington does not encourage Taiwan to gain independence from China, despite cooperation with the island. Biden stressed that the U.S. remains committed to the One China policy. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland have closed entry for Russians. On the night of September 18 to 19, these countries stopped letting Russian citizens with Schengen tourist visas because they believe that their trips are a threat to the public safety of the entire Schengen area. New inconveniences for the aggressor country are mentioned in the TSN story. From 0-100 on September 19, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland stopped admitting Russians with valid tourist visas, regardless of which country issued them. Traveling in the EU is a privilege, not a human right. And citizens of the aggressor country cannot enjoy such privileges, while people are being tortured in Ukraine. This is the common position of the Baltic countries and Poland. The governments of the four countries took tougher measures, unlike others in the EU, which decided only to suspend visa facilitation with Russia. Estonia noted that more than 70% of Russians support a full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, so the introduction of entry restrictions for them is primarily a security issue. Recall that Estonia was the first in the EU to introduce new visa sanctions for citizens of the Russian Federation. The republic closed entry for Russians with valid Schengen visas, which they had previously issued. Nevertheless, she left exceptions for relatives, diplomats, drivers and holders of residence permits. Russians will stay at home. European countries have closed entry for Russian citizens with Schengen visas. As UNIAN reported earlier, on September 12, 2022, the decision of the Council of the European Union on the complete termination of the visa facilitation agreement with the Russian Federation came into force. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Denmark, Belgium and the Netherlands have stopped accepting documents for tourist visas from Russian citizens, leaving them the opportunity to receive only certain categories of visas, including humanitarian ones. Turkish hotels have stopped accepting cards of the Russian payment system, MIR. In the seventh month of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, Turkish hotels stopped accepting cards from the Russian payment system MIR. It is reported by the Middle East Eye. According to the newspaper, the Russians are denied the service of bank cards against the backdrop of pressure from the United States and Europe on Ankara to comply with sanctions. Cards of the Russian payment system, MIR, are no longer accepted in large five-star hotels in the resort town of Antalya. According to the publication, one of the hotels, Alva Dana World Palace in Kemmer, later informed customers that they did not accept cards for a short time due to a global outage, but are now processing them again. Other hotels have not resumed accepting MIR cards. In general, Turkey continues to accept MIR cards at ATMs and shops. Also, the situation may depend on which bank issued the card. Germany handed over to Ukraine the promised Mars 2 multiple launch rocket systems (MLRS) and Dingo armored personnel carriers. This was reported by the German Ministry of Defense. We keep our promises. 2 more Mars 2 and 50 Dingo missile systems have been delivered to Ukraine. We continue to support Ukraine in the struggle for its territorial integrity and sovereignty, the message says. The ministry also announced the expansion of training opportunities for the Ukrainian military in Germany from the end of the month. On September 15, German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht announced that Germany would supply Ukraine with 2 more Mars 2 multiple launch rocket systems and 50 Dingo armored vehicles. At the same time, the co-chairman of the Social Democratic Party of Germany, Lars Klingbeil, said that the government coalition in Germany had made a unanimous decision not to supply battle tanks to Ukraine, since it would take a long time to train the Ukrainian military. U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency Director Scott Barrier believes that the recent setbacks of Russian forces on the battlefield could come to a point where Vladimir Putin will be forced to change his war aims in Ukraine. It's just that now we're coming to a point where I think Putin will have to reconsider what the goals of his operation are. Because it's clear now that he won't be able to do what he planned to do from the very beginning, Barrier said at the conference. On Friday, the Pentagon intelligence chief noted that the United States does not yet know exactly what Putin's decision on the war in Ukraine will be, but it will largely determine how long this conflict will continue. At the same time, Deputy Director of the Central Intelligence Agency David Cohen disagreed with this assessment and said that Putin's commitment to the original plan, control over Ukraine, should not be underestimated. As you know, according to Western and Ukrainian intelligence, the goal of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine was to overthrow its power and seize the entire state. Officially, Moscow spoke of denazification, demilitarization, and assistance to the peoples of Donbass. However, the Russian Federation occupied not only the territories where it recognized the quasi-formations of the DNR and LNR, but also part of the Kherson, Zaporozhye, Nikolaev and Kharkiv regions. The head of the DPR, Denis Pushilin, addressed the leader of the LPR, Leonid Pasechnik, with a proposal to join forces to prepare for a pseudo-referendum on the entry of the occupied territories of the Donetsk and Lugansk regions of Ukraine into the Russian Federation. This is reported by the Russian propaganda media. So, Pushilin said that he discussed with Pasechnik the appeals of the so-called public chambers in the DPR and LPR, and the need to synchronize further actions. He proposed to unite the efforts of the fake administrations and the apparatus of the parliaments to work out steps to start preparing for the referendum. He posted a video of this telephone conversation. Russia does not have enough people to send to war, they are conducting internal self-mobilization. Russia does not have enough people to send to war, they are conducting internal self-mobilization. Earlier today, the so-called public chamber in the LPR appealed to the leader of the Republic, Leonid Pasechnik, regarding the urgent holding of a pseudo-referendum on joining Russia. Soon a similar statement was issued by the public chamber of the DNR, which turned to Denis Pushilin with the same request. Both so-called chambers stated that they expect the fastest possible response from the leaders of the LPR and DPR. Although the deputies demanded to hold a referendum immediately, in their appeal, Alexei Karyakhin, head of the public chamber, said that it was too early to talk about the date of such a referendum. According to him, it is a question not of one day. Russian State Duma Deputy Viktor Vodolatsky said that allegedly a referendum on recognizing the LPR as a constituent entity of the Russian Federation will take place in the fall, in the near future.